to reveal a little bit what we've learned. See if you can figure all this out. Like, we are on a journey, right? And we want Jesus Christ as our navigator. We all have gifts and talents. I hope you all have finally accepted that. Like, you all have gifts and talents, and they desperately are needed in our culture today, right? We desperately need your gifts. Enough said? How many feel like a tanker? Do you feel like a tanker? Raise your hand. You feel like a tanker? You're a tanker. Come on. Yeah. And you can dream with God. And God dreams with you. He talks to you. He wants to dream with you about what your mission is in life. So when I ask that question, like, what's your mission? The first thing I want you to know is what it is not. Okay? Your mission is not a job. It's not a job. It's not a program. Because your mission, if it were a program, it would be, it's going to come and go, right? Programs come and go. Jobs come and go. Your mission is forever. Your mission is forever. So it's not those things. Your mission should help you speak heart to heart with them. So when you're trying to decide what is my mission, you're asking yourself, well, when do I speak heart to heart with people most? Right? And so you're in chapel, you're in adoration, and God speaks in silence. That's okay. Not a problem. Because you know how you can just tell what your wife is thinking before she says anything? And your husband or your brother, your sister? Well, when you spend enough time with Jesus, you start to know what he thinks. You start to recognize him in people. You start to see him in places, hear him. Right? Oh, Lord, that was you. Thank you. I needed that affirmation. Right? So he tells you about your mission. And sometimes he calls someone into your life that you can share that with. So this is me. Where's my pointer? That's me. And I'm a speaker, so I can look like anything I want. So don't say a word. And I'm on the plane with this guy, and he starts to get into the seat, and I thought, I felt my heart just beating. I felt my heart beating, and I was like, you want me to say something to this guy? And yeah, something's happening here. He sits down, and so I did the SST, safe small talk. And I started talking to him, and what are you doing? Reoccupation, what's going on? And then I said to him, what do you do for a living? And he said, oh, I'm in education. Oh, really? What do you do? I do research. Oh, that's fascinating. What do you research? I research early childhood education. I try to find best practices for how to teach gender and racial identity to early childhood. Okay. And I thought to myself, and I was like, if you knew who you were talking to, like that you knew me, you would know that this ideology is my arch nemesis. Okay? And that's so true. This is why I will stop. Now I knew something. Okay, I would have blasted him and made him stay there until he screamed, I believe! I believe! Save me, Jesus. Definitely not debating with our mission, right? But my new stuff, because I've been a well-formed Red University member for a few months now. And I just listened to him for a long time. For a half hour, I listened to him. And he told me he had just lost his job. He told me that his friend had committed suicide 2 weeks earlier. Told me about his childhood and how his dad never knew him. And so I'm listening to all this, and it's starting to make sense. He's looking for his identity, right? So, listening a long time, and I didn't see a word. Oh, except there were some, little words of affirmation, right? And I thought, what do I do? What do I do? So I looked out the window, 30,000 feet up, and I said, Lord, I'm way closer to you up here. Right? Excuse me. So I'm way closer to you here, so could you speak? And what do I do with this? I don't want to leave him like this. And so then he said, I just stepped forward again, and the guy says to me, so what do you do for a living? I was like, here it comes. Are you ready? So I said, oh, what's funny you should ask that. I actually teach children too. He said, you do? And I said, yeah, I started this program called K for J, and told about it, and learn about virtue, all that kind of stuff. And then I said, it's just a way for me to teach kids that who they are, that they're a child of God. And I started teaching him about himself through what I was saying about K for J. And I said, isn't it great to know you're a child of God and that you're wonderful to him? And he was like, And then, so he talked a lot more. And he started asking me questions. And he started wondering, it even got to the point where he brought up the guy who tried to be a tiger and that the doctor tried to change his hips so he could look like a tiger. And I said, well, why would anyone want to change what God created you to be? He knows exactly what you need. Why would anyone want to do that? I don't understand. We talked about and I would say, I don't understand. And then he would tell me, oh, wow. And he'd explain and he'd talk. And so the whole trip went like that, okay? And at the end, and he stopped talking, I sat down and I thought, well, the best thing I can do for a mass is to say my rosary. So I got my rosary out, started saying my rosary, and I said, yeah? And he said, I've seen something like that before, but I don't know what it is. What is it? And I said, oh, this is a rosary. And I taught him about the rosary. Would you like to have my rosary? Gary's one of those from Jerusalem. It's great. Did you hear him away? I said, would you like to have my rosary? Let me teach you how to say it. And he said, oh, okay. So at the end of the flight, he's leaving the flight, and he looks at me and he said, I have never felt peace like this in my entire life. He said, I've never felt peace holding a rose, something like this, and talking to you. I've never felt this before. And I said, oh, don't worry, that's just God loving you. And he goes, okay. He goes off the flight. And I'm like, Lord, that was so awesome. I want to do that over and over and over again. How can I do that? And he told me, well, sometimes an encounter is short gift. But sometimes they last a long time. And they will launch an apostle. You can have an encounter that goes on, and you can actually launch an apostle. And I thought to myself, I didn't do anything with that guy except teach him that he was a child of God. That's all I did. Come on. You know the truths about God. You can talk to anyone. I learned that. We can reach into this culture to everyone. With the truth about who we are as children of God, that's all we need. Right? And I walked off that plane loving that guy. Figure that, I was like sitting, I pray for him still. So it was something that happened, but now God said, sometimes we need to keep it going so that we can launch an apostle. So I went home and I thought, I want to know what happened in that conversation. That it actually seemed to plant a seed, right? It seemed to. I don't know, maybe it didn't, but it definitely did in me. I was like, this was helpful to me. So I went home and I started reading the Gospels. And every time I would read the gospel, I would say to myself, well, how did you speak to him? What did you say? What did you do? And I'd look at it, and I'd try to figure it out. And I noticed that Jesus, when he would meet people, he always affirmed them somehow. Always. And I thought, well, that's what I did. Like that guy would tell me all this stuff, and I'm constantly affirming him, right? And then he listened. He listens. And then he asks questions. But he asks questions that kind of helps draw out the desire that they have in their heart, right? And then he guides them to this little nugget of truth. I love you. You're a child of God. Your sins are forgiven, or whatever it is. And then he gives counsel sometimes to a next practical step. So, as you read the gospel stories, and you start to see this over and over again, how Jesus speaks to the heart. I'm not going to say he does every single one of these every single time in this order. But how affirming is it that he let her touch his feet? He doesn't have to say something. It's his demeanor sometimes. Just looking at the person and caring and listening and tuning out everything else but you. So I want you to be completely convinced of this. So on your packet, or on your table is a packet, and in that packet there is a gospel, and I gave you an image to kind of help you. If you're a visual person, just to kind of help you. At your table, pick a reader, read the gospel, and look for these 5 things. And see if you can find them. What did you read in the gospel? How did Christ affirm the person? Somebody.
We have Zacchaeus, so we're thinking that, it's not mentioned so many words, but the fact that Zacchaeus was so little in the crowd and he climbed the tree to see, I'm going to use the wrong word, but a rock star, out of a multitude is like, they're going to notice me. And all of a sudden, Jesus directly speaks to him and says, hey, Zacchaeus, come down that tree. So he's acknowledging out of that multitude and listening that he needs an encounter with him.
Awesome. And knowing that Zacchaeus is probably going to get, what does it say? The crowds murmured, and what is he doing? Going to that guy's house? Who else?
Well, we had Zacchaeus. And he also called him the son of Abraham, too. And that was very affirming for him.
Oh, very good. Very good. Who else? Anybody else?
Well, our table mentioned, we had the raising of the widow's son, and the affirmation was just the fact that he recognized her weeping and told her not to weep, so that was both affirming and really listening to her.
Okay, so Denise, you got one?
So we had the Samaritan woman at the well.
Oh.
Okay,
So it took you a while to read your reading.
it was a long one. We had the Samaritan woman at the well, and just the idea of Christ starting a conversation with a Samaritan woman, just affirming her, give me a drink, and why are you talking to me? So just starting a conversation.
Okay, great. So now look at some of the other things. Listening, asking questions, guiding them to a nugget of truth, giving counsel in the next practical step. Who has something that really stuck out to them? Like something that Jesus did that you noticed in the scripture? Something that, anything. Anyone, take any one of 4 of those. How Jesus asked questions to find the desire of their heart. What about that one? Sandra?
Blind man Bartimaeus, and he asks him, what do you want me to do for you? So he's asking, what exactly do you want from me? And then he said, Rabboni, I want to regain my sight. And it has an exclamation point.
Okay, anybody else have something to share?
Father, go ahead.
So we had Jesus healing Jairus' daughter. At the very end, after he raises her from the dead, he tells them to give her something to eat. So our Lord is not just concerned just about the spiritual, but about everything, the human, the material, the physical, right? He's tended to all the details of our life. That struck at me.
So we had the paralytic that was lowered down in front of Jesus, and there was no spoken words, but Jesus' first words to him were, "Child, your sins are forgiven." And it struck us that maybe Jesus read his heart and saw that more than worried about his physical state, he felt like an outcast and he felt like he was being punished by God, and he needed forgiveness first. Yeah.
Kathy, do you have something? Do you have something, Kathleen?
Yes, but I can't speak that loud.
Okay, we have the woman caught in adultery, and so after Jesus states the truth, right, about telling, then let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. So the question he asks us, stating the truth after affirming her, he says, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" Right? So then she replied, "No one said, neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more." But it's just a very, very soft way of just affirming her and say, "Woman, has anyone condemned you?"
So I started practicing this in conversations. And if you took a communication course, I went to this course in development, and they taught you how to listen, right? You're not supposed to be thinking what you're going to say next. You're supposed to like be able to like look at the person and understand what they're saying, and be able to say, be able to kind of like read them, where their heart is, like what would make them want to give, right? What is in there that is that God is trying to reveal. And if you start practicing this is really great. Christ was the best communicator ever. And I don't want to say that this is like always happens in this order, but a lot of times affirmation is, to me, it's always first. The first time you meet someone and you affirm them, "Oh my goodness, I haven't seen, how many have done that to me today? I can't wait for your child, whatever, blah, blah." So it's like that is affirming. I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And then to listen to them. How many of us really have someone who listens? Right? So these things are like just great communication. But Jesus Christ did this. And he did it in a way that helped the person own whatever it was that they needed to learn. Right? Okay. So, sometimes the next thing people say is, "Well, I don't know, I don't have that big a circle of friends, or I don't know how I would attract others to be able to have this experience like I had in the airplane, or what I'm sure you've had, okay? Experiences like that. Probably reminded you of some." But one of the other things Jesus said is that, and I said this to him, like, "Lord, you didn't say that it was going to come drip, drip, drip on airplanes. You said it would be like rivers of flowing water coming from us if we believe in you." So we want to do that. And if you think for a second, what about your own relationships, and think about why you persevere in those relationships, what moves your heart, that's the place God's kind of calling you, right? How do people get attracted to us? It's because we share the same work. Or it's because we share the same desires and thoughts. We share the same difficulties or trials. We have a shared experience, or I see that the person needs something and I want to give. Those are ways that, what does that spark in us? Love. All that brings about love. So like Monica Free started a divorced Catholics group. Having gone through an experience like that, and God bringing her through that, wanted others to have that, be able to help others with that. That's a shared difficulty or trial, right? And so you feel in your heart like there's something, a place where God has really touched you, and He's like, now help me find others so I can do the same with them. Okay, so this is a Panama group. My daughter planned a trip to Panama with 20-some kids. My son is on the far right, Father Ronald Conklin. They spent like 2 weeks in Panama. First week in a mission, and the second week with the Pope. And they got to be so incredibly close. They're constantly texting each other, getting together for things, planning when they're going to do the next whatever. And they had, on that trip, after 2 weeks, one gentleman there is going to Cheshire. Another one decided to be a missionary. And 2 of the girls have decided they're going to be missionaries. They shared an experience. They felt accepted, loved. They understood their own gifts because they were able to give through the whole thing. And amazing apostolic fruits, right? Okay. What's going on? Okay. So I had this experience myself. Okay, I'm like telling you, don't miss an opportunity to help someone, whatever. And this was one of my mess-ups. I had, we'll call it a slight mess-up, okay, it's not that horrible. But there was a woman, I was trying to help Father get some vocation stuff started, and we needed a leader. So all of a sudden this woman surfaces, and they said, oh man, Candy, she's amazing, she's done this all before, whatever. And I said, great, awesome. So I was ready to pass the baton and give her, okay. I said, there you go. And I gave her all the information, all the names, all the everything. And I thought, okay, that was done. She called me, and she called me, and she called me, and she called me. She kept asking me questions. Can you help me with this? And it was like, I need a lot. Like she was calling me regularly. And I'm sitting in the chapel, and all of a sudden I saw that my light go up on my phone, and she was texting me or something. And so I looked up, and I thought, what should I, and you know how you get a distraction like that? So I was trying to let it go, right? And I just felt like all of a sudden Jesus said to me, Kathy, you know why she's giving you all this attention? She wants you to be part of her team. And I thought, I'm launched. Someone's launching me. This is happening to me. And I didn't even recognize it. So I started giving her my attention. And when she'd call, I'd answer right away. And her goal was to start vocation promotion teams to support the legionaries across the country. And she starts calling people, person to person, calling every person she can think of, right? Then she intentionally lives her mission. This woman is driven. She is amazing. And she did this heart-to-heart conversation with every single person. That's what she was doing with me. And she just kept going. And God blessed it. And there were all kinds of new little opportunities. So one time I told her, she said, I'm trying to get these prayer teams going around the country, and I'm not exactly sure what to do. And I said, well, why don't you talk to Pinecrest, because Pinecrest does a door. And it seems to be really going well, and I've been to it, and I love it. So she said, oh, okay, I'll talk to them. So she talked to Pinecrest. Pinecrest kind of gave her an outline of what they do. And she set up a 7 steps of how to start a door and started passing it out to people. I started helping her. The part I was helping her with was just kind of like how to, like what to do next, like some next practical steps. That was basically her sounding board. So all of a sudden, one of the fathers, it might have been Father Edward, I don't know, was introduced her to some gentleman who is really good at social media and all of this stuff. And he, in like a week's time, created her this door card with the 7 steps on how to start a door. She's sent this out to her local and her diocese. She started contacting youth ministers and people. And I kept telling her, she said, do we need to worry about, you know, like, somehow we have to set up the structures so we know who's going and doing what. I go, look, get every teenager in the country praying for vocations, and that's your whole goal. Like, that's, for this, just put it out there. Because your goal is to start vocation promotion teams. It's not to do a door, right? This is a tool that we can start generating a culture that loves vocation. So she went after this. This guy created this for her. She went into her diocese, and already a parish is starting a door with their youth group. God gave her constellations all the time. And she was in a restaurant last week, and this boy comes up to her waiter and said, she said, "You're awful nice. Have you ever thought about being a priest?" No kidding, no lie. The kid looks back at her and goes, "You're the sign from God I've been waiting for." I'm not kidding. She got his name and everything. This lady's amazing. I mean, she is going to do it. She is going to do it. But this woman, to me, was an example of how to just keep going, person to person, talking to people. All that. Okay. And that's how she did it. If you ask her, that's how she did it. She just talks to people. This one I heard at my development meetings last week, and I said I must put this in my talk. A regular Christian woman invited Anne to a retreat. She was moved by the retreat and met with Father Peter. Okay? She wasn't Catholic. Father Peter met with her, I don't know, and somehow helped her, and she said, "I'm going to become Catholic," and she goes to her parish and gets into RCIA. Or asked to get into RCIA. But she wants her whole family to come in. And the priest said, well, for whatever reasons, I can't do it or whatever at the time. So that priest called Father Peter. "Would you be willing to help her and her family come into the church?" Father Peter said, "Yes." So she invites 3 more families to RCIA with Father Peter. So now we have 4 families coming into the church. And she learns from Father, she's working with Father Peter, so she knew right away, I gotta give. So she went on some missions to Skid Row with Father Peter, and ended up recruiting a man who she thought would really like it to come with her. And she says, "Let's go to Skid Row." This gentleman now has started a full-time apostolate in Skid Row. Well, how did any of this happen? Like all of this, relationship. That's it. That's it. Father having a relationship with the parish priest, Anne having a relationship with the Reverend Christie member, the gentleman that she invited, the family she invited. Who knows what's going to happen from there? Are they all going to become Reverend Christie? Well, maybe not. It doesn't matter, because look at now the people of Skid Row, which is, like it says, 10,000 homeless in 3 blocks. Has someone doing a full-time apostolate. Because we love people and show them their gifts. We don't show them, but we help them discover their gifts. You're so good at that, affirming them and talking to them and motivating them and inviting them to things to help them go deeper, right? And really care. And that's how she did it. Okay, this is a great story. And this is when you gotta get on your Reverend Christie hats. Are you ready? And those of you who are not Reverend Christie, please don't go screaming out the door. We're gonna be fine. This is good. We're gonna learn though. These are the apostolic principles lived well. And I wanted to bring this one to you. Jessica and Joe Zuniga. You guys know? You know them? They just moved to Atlanta, 2 or 3 years ago? Okay. They lived in St. Louis. Gateway was closing. The Legion was leaving St. Louis, couldn't be there anymore. And so a few couples got together and said, "What are we going to do with our kids?" and they weren't satisfied with any of the solutions for the school. And so they said, you know, how do we deal with this? And they decided they were going to try something. So they started a little hybrid. They said, we're going to do it 3 days a week. Let's see if we can get some teachers. They had 7 kids, okay? They started, this little group of parents became the team. They started with 7 students, and they used the gifts they had. She said, if we said, oh, we need somebody to contact so-and-so, I'll do that. We need somebody who's going to find us the curriculum, I'll do that. They just used their natural gifts. There were no roles given, there was no structure, none of that. We don't need that until we need it, right? And so she said, but I had to form myself as a leader because they said, you got to be principal. And she's like, principal? Like, okay, I'm going to be the principal. And so she just kept taught. She said they started working person to person, going out, contacting people. Would you like to be, are you interested in this little hybrid school like this? Then they found gateway teachers who had come home, and because their school had closed, and they hired them. And they worked the school schedule, original school schedule, around the gateway teachers' schedule. They had part-time jobs. Okay, we're going to meet on Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays because she can't do Wednesday. I mean, that's how it went. And their motto, bless it or block it. That's what they'd say to God. You know what? Bless it or block it. We're here. Our kids need this. We're going to do it. So they started, every family that came into the school, they started doing the talking to the heart, you know. Why are you choosing the school? What can we do for you? And getting to know the parents and all of the good stuff that you do. And a family joins whose dad, they found out was a lawyer. So they meet in the office, and he says, yeah, I'm a lawyer. And she goes, oh, where do you practice law? He goes, well, actually, I work for the bishop. And they're like, oh, the bishop, okay. Well, we'd love to have a visit from him someday. And he says, oh, I'll mention that to him. Okay. So, look, a circumstance change, right? We need a solution, and they adapt. They form a team. They form themselves as leaders. They work person to person. They pray and find people who are gifted and form them. And they keep trying to work with leaders, finding leaders that can help them extend their mission, right? So I had to ask myself, well, am I intentionally living these principles? Because we can keep talking to people, but what are we guiding them to? Right? Like, how are we going to actually, like, it could be, end up, if you don't do that, you're just talking a bunch of times, but like, let's really use our practices. So I asked myself, well, am I adapting to my circumstances? What's happening in my life, in my circles, with my friends, with the things I care about? How could I, like the NFP, that was a perfect example. NFP, she said it from the beginning, a new, fresh approach, right? Adapting to circumstances, forming myself as a leader, going out and getting my instructor license, whatever. Working person to person, having a team, and then working with leaders. And so am I having personal encounters, speaking heart to heart? Do I accompany people so that we can lead them toward this? Right? So that we can work together and reach many, many more people. So to give you the results, the Zunikas moved. And when they left, the school went on. They had formed a beautiful community of people who understood the mission. There are 80+ students there today. The bishop visited last year and congratulated them on being accredited. They made their goal. And 9 religious vocations in 10 years. The bishop was very happy with them. He made them a diocesan school, which protects them with the bylaws of the diocese and all the other things that come with it. The students, there were lots of students and faculty that became Catholic. She said that a lot of Reverend Christie started having a place to work, right? That now someone's created an experience for us. Now we can meet people here. We can do things with them. And this is awesome. So they had curriculum writing, parenting classes, professional development. They did mentor program for young moms. It's a place that's authentically, beautifully Catholic in Reverend Christie. And she said that most of the families are not Reverend Christie, but it's just the vast majority. But the charism was taught, and some of these Reverend Christie members are still there and still doing it, and Gateway teachers, right, who had all that beautiful formation. Okay, so all that happened, and I asked Jessica, how did it all happen? She said, personal attention, that's all. That's all. She even talked about, she goes, we just kept talking to people and trying to help them understand our mission. And one gentleman, they found out we were needing a space. And he called me and he said, I built this place and I built it for conquest, but that's kind of not happening right now. Do you want it for your school? And she got this beautiful facility with a chapel and everything. Okay. Another one's Ryan Foley, well-formed Reverend Christie member, does all kinds of things, and he had, he's been accompanying the gentleman who runs Exodus 90. How many guys in here are doing Exodus 90? You can pass your dessert to me tonight. All right, I'll have the dessert and wine. All right. But in six months, they've quadrupled their reach with Ryan helping Exodus 90. Okay, so putting it all together, guys. We're on a mission, right? We're on a journey. We are gifted. The thing that's important to remember is it doesn't take a certain personality. It doesn't take a certain life experience. It doesn't take, oh, I wish I could, but sorry, I can't because I'm not this. Fill in the blanks. Because all people are interested in is, oh, you and I both have children that X, Y, or Z, and you start talking with each other and you have this shared little trial, right? And you connect and you realize, oh my gosh, you know what? There are probably 8 more moms out here like that. Why don't we have a little group get together? Let's do a Bible study together and learn how to go through this together. And then we start meeting real apostles, you guys, takers, who can take this out and go farther, reach farther. And not that that's the end goal. The end goal is that we want as many people as possible touching hearts. So that, because we bear Christ within us, the truth within us. And it doesn't take a highly intellectual degree or whatever, which I don't have. So, like what? If you just get the culture, just start being a light in the culture, right? With where you are. And the only thing that I have to add is like that heart to heart, but you also have to have in mind these apostolic practices. If you do, God blesses it. You know why? Because it's our charism and we're called to it. It's what we're called to do. If you read about the Reverend Christie apostolic principles, you'll automatically be thinking, hey, we have this shared experience. How about we start a team, and together we can do a retreat for moms like us, right? And you start creating a new experience. So you can reach more moms, and they will be touched, and they will go out. All right, so I put a blue card, or Kathleen, on your table. I know that you can't answer this in 5 minutes, right? But it's so valuable to talk about, just you can get like in a couple, 2 or 3 people if you want to, or whatever, but just to talk about, well, what's happened in my life? What experience have I had? Or when do I see God asking me to speak heart to heart with someone else? Because when we go into adoration, like I told you, and we come out and we see Him, we hear Him, we have to have a way to respond, right? And we have to have a way to help people build community. One of the things people talk about in Reverend Christie always is how much they love the community, right? Don't we love being together? Is there anybody here who doesn't feel loved, accepted, like they belong? You all feel that. That's God. We need to help people experience that. So think about your life. Where has God, have you seen God calling you to speak heart to heart with others? And you may find a recurring theme. Well, usually with young moms, usually with men who've lost their jobs, usually with whatever. What relationships do you have now that you can intentionally go deeper with them and do the heart to heart, meeting with them more often? You have to do it intentionally, because otherwise life gets busy, and guess what? It's been 3 months since I talked to that person, right? And then help Jesus be his instrument to launch him as an apostle. So if you just get with a couple people and just kind of like talk about your life a little bit and see what happens. Just quote, you guys, write it down, meditate on it. It is the Bible verse where you will find yourself. It is Regan Christie. So meditate on what Christ has to say there. And thank you. You've been awesome. Thank you.